What's up guys, welcome back to Madman Music. In today's video, we're talking about the Digitech Drop. This pedal's pretty cool. What it lets you do is change your guitar's tuning on the fly at a press of a button. You can set it all the way down to 7 half steps below your original tuning, which is essentially like adding an extra string and then dropping it down with the simple turn of a knob. I think this might be a really great solution for those guys out there that are playing a set where they have to change guitars for one song that's tuned a half step lower than all the other songs in the set. This pedal might help you alleviate that problem. If you're not already familiar, this is obviously the same technology that you're gonna find in the Digitech Whammy drop pedal, where they essentially just took the drop section of that obnoxiously huge pedal and put it into a nice standard size stomp box pedal, which will fit pretty much perfectly on any board. As for power requirements, this thing runs on a 9-volt, 300 milliamp power supply. Most power supplies will have this option. So you should be able to power it with most multi-effect unit power supplies if you are putting it on a board with a lot of other pedals. Or if you're just gonna have this thing stand alone, Digitech hooked you up with a power supply right out the box. As I mentioned before, it allows you to drop your guitar's tuning down in half-step increments all the way down to 7 semitones, as well as gives you a full octave and then a wet-dry octave effect, which is probably one of my favorite ways to use a pedal like this, to be honest. It also has a momentary switch that, when activated, only allows the pedal to turn on and off while you're holding the foot switch button. So that's pretty cool when you want to use this pedal as a little accent to change the tuning. Say you wanted to use the octave effect in the middle of a riff, you could be jamming out, hit that thing, and just bomb drop the crap out of this thing. But for the purposes of this demo, we're just gonna stick to strictly how well this holds up as we detune it. So let's get into that. Now it's getting dicey. So now we're down to 2 whole steps below the original tuning. So now we're down a full 5th from the original tuning. So this would actually put my guitar in a 7-string tuning. And as you can start to hear, the low notes start to not really hold up so well the further we go down in the tunings. It'll start to warble a bit and sound like the palm mutes sound a little weird and muffled. There's also a little bit of latency, but in this case, and the reason why I chose a guitar in standard E, the higher tuning your guitar already is, so for instance standard tuning, the better off this pedal will work. If I was using one of my 7 strings and I was using those lower strings, yes, it would still hold up. It holds up pretty well, but the notes really start to become unclear. Let's check out 5 semitones below standard. I've also noticed that when you start to play a lot of chords, the chords will also become a little bit unclear. But considering you can find this pedal for $150 or so used, that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty accurate down to a fifth below. So essentially it just turned my guitar into a 7-string, which is cool because I normally play 7 strings. Let's drop it all the way down to 7 semitones and check this thing out. Yeah, obviously it's probably not ideal to use this thing in this particular setting. Does get a little warbly. Let's check out this octave setting. This is something, if I was to use this thing, I would use it with the Momentary switch, but I'm just gonna chug away at it. You're gonna hear the dry signal into the wet signal and see how that works. So you can see that's pretty cool. You can have a lot of fun with that. I think if you were actually playing a guitar that was already tuned pretty low, these little bomb drop effects would be really cool to be able to cue up just by holding the button. It's pretty awesome. So let's check out this Octave 50/50 wet dry effect and see how that sounds. And there you have it. That's the Digitech drop. I think this thing's pretty cool. It's space efficient. You can fit it onto any pedal board. It's an easy way to drop your guitar's tuning down a couple of semitones. I wouldn't recommend using it all the way down to 7, but for 1 or 2 half steps, it works, I think, pretty well, depending on what type of music you're playing. In most cases, you're gonna find yourself playing rock music or metal with this thing. I don't think that a lot of jazz guys are going to be using this. It isn't going to hold up if you push it too far. To be honest, I'm not sure why they even give you the option to go that far, but whatever. I guess in certain cases, if you play single notes, they will be much more clear than chords. It all depends on how you play. But again, for the price, you can't beat having the option to not have to change your guitar or change your guitar's tuning to play the one song in the entire set list that requires you to drop your tuning. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you like learning about gear that sounds awesome, that won't break the bank account, hit that subscribe button, and we're gonna catch you in the next video. Peace.